Hi, One Heroes here to show you how to do hypergraph loops with Magneto on Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I'm gonna be talking about what it is, how to do it, the variations, the best way for you to finish it. I'm gonna be covering everything there is to cover about hypergraph loops in this video. So if you're interested, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to receive more content like this. Without any further ado, let's talk about hypergraph loops. So, what is the hypergraph loop? The hypergraph loop is basically a way for you to keep repeating the hypergraph light attack. And in order for you to do that, you're gonna usually use the jumping H and the standing H for you to keep doing that. So it's gonna look like this. You're gonna be able to use these two attacks in order to force your opponent into a specific height where you can land the hypergraph light. I said that this is usually how you're gonna do it because there is another possibility for you to do this. There's another variation where you also add a jumping medium before the jumping H, so it's gonna look like this. You can also do hypergraph loops like this if you want to, okay? So you got these two variations, and so I'm gonna be talking about the first one as the classic and the second one as the medium because you add the medium attack. But I recommend you stick to the classic because honestly, this one is gonna deal more damage because it has less damage scaling, and also you can repeat for more times because you have less hits than deterioration since you don't add the jumping medium attack. However, the second one is the only variation you're gonna be able to land on characters like Nemesis. I think he's the only character in the game that you cannot land the classic hypergraph loops because of the way his body behaves. For some reason, you cannot do the classic loops on him. His body doesn't follow Magneto. So in order for you to land on Nemesis, you gotta learn the second variation if you wanna land hypergraph loops on him. I'm gonna try to show you how the medium works on him. It's kinda hard to land, but I'll try. See, just like that. I mean, I could only do 2 reps. It's very hard to land this one on Nemesis because his body, again, it stays too close to the ground, so it's kind of hard to land, but again, I'm going to be showing you both variations throughout the video. How many times can you repeat the loop? Well, that is going to depend on how you start the combo. If you start it with a grab and you already go straight into hypergraph light, this is going to be the best startup for you to do the most amount of repetitions. If you do the classic variation, you're going to be able to repeat the loop for 8 times maximum. And if you use the medium, jumping medium variation, you're going to be able to repeat that for 6 times maximum. Of course, that situation is not going to happen all the time. So sometimes you're going to start the combo with, let's say, a low, a low attack. Let's say a low light attack. If you do a classic combo using low light attack, the maximum amount of repetitions you're going to be able to get with the classic is going to be 5 times. And if you use the jumping medium variation, it's going to be 4 times. This is the maximum in case you go straight into hypergraph loops after a low light attack confirmed. Of course, that if you do a combo before starting the hypergraph loops, the number of repetitions is going to decrease. You're going to have to test out the combos for yourself, the combos that you do. But the general idea is that if you do the classic variation, you're always going to be able to do at least 1 more repetition than you would if you use the jumping medium. But you already have the numbers for the best confirms possible, so 8 times maximum for classic in case you get confirmed with a grab and already go for a hyper grab, 6 times if you do the jumping medium variation. If you get confirmed using low light or something like that, the maximum amount of times you're going to be able to repeat is 5. Whereas if you use the jumping medium variation, it's gonna be 4. Okay, now how to do the hypergraph loops. I'm gonna be slowing down the camera here for you to see, but basically after the hypergraph, you're gonna get the first hypergraph, you're gonna super jump. After the super jump, you're gonna be dashing down, you're gonna be hitting with jumping H, you're gonna land and you're gonna hit with H, and then you're gonna do another hypergraph light. This was in slow motion for you to try and recognize exactly what it is, but now I'm gonna be sharing with you a few secrets or maybe some tips, that might help you get this easier if you're having troubles. The first recommendation I'm gonna give you, and this is for the classic variation, okay? The first recommendation I'm going to give you, and it's very important that you understand that if you want to do this variation, you have to use your dash with light plus medium. If you try to use your dash with light plus heavy or medium plus heavy, you're not going to be able to do the loops correctly because of this situation here. I'm gonna be showing you my hand here. And as you can see, I use light plus medium. If you use light plus heavy or medium plus heavy, you're not gonna be able to get the combo because you're using the H for dashing. So you are not gonna be able to cancel dash that you used H into another H as fast as you could if you dashed without H. I'm gonna be showing you right now. This is my dash button. As you can see on screen, I got light plus heavy, okay? If I try to come down and do a heavy, as you can see here, it doesn't come out because I'm using heavy to dash. This is my dash button and this is my heavy. I'm trying to get the heavy for the loop and it doesn't come out because I'm using H for dash. Same thing happens if I try to use M plus H. If I use M plus H, as you can see here on screen, the inputs, it's not gonna work because I'm using H for dashing. However, when I switch to light plus medium, which is how I was using before, as you can see here, bang, 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 I can cancel the dash into an H much faster. So this will allow me to do the loops, as you can see my hand executing here, you know? So the first thing you gotta do, use your dashing. Oh my gosh, sorry guys, my dog just jumped. Anyways, use your dashing with light plus medium. That is the key thing for you to get it, okay? That is the first tip I can give you. Second thing is, you can choose how you want to super jump and how you want to dash down. What I mean by it is that you don't necessarily have to do the way I'm doing or the way that most people do. The way that I do and that most people do is by super jumping forward and dashing down. You're gonna be super jumping forward and dashing down. But you can also jump, super jump neutral and dash diagonal forward down, you know? Or you can even super jump back and then do the same thing. Super jump back and then dash diagonal forward H. Just a second, guys. So basically what I mean is that you can do what feels more comfortable to you. I'm gonna show you right now. The way that I do, super jump forward and then dash down. But you can also super jump back and then dash diagonal forward. Just like this. You can still make it work if you want to. You can do the way that feels more comfortable to you, honestly. But the secret is, you have to do forward movements on either the super jump or the dash. One of the two must be forward, because if you don't move forward, Magneto is gonna keep pushing himself away from the opponent like this. If I, sorry, I'm gonna try to do neutral to show you. I'm gonna get a few repetitions, but Magneto is gonna keep pushing himself away, so you're not gonna be able to get all the repetitions. It will eventually drop because you're too far away. So you either have to super jump forward and then you can dash down, or you can neutral super jump neutral, or super jump back. And then since you neutral super jumped or super jumped back, you're gonna have to dash down and forward to hit. But you can do it any way that feels more comfortable to you, honestly. Again, I feel more comfortable when I super jump forward, but you can super jump neutral or back and then dash diagonal forward. But the key is just to remember that one of the movement has to be forward, either super jump or the dash down forward. One of them has to be forward. If one of them is, then the other can be the way you want, okay? The only thing you cannot do is dash diagonal back. That is not possible because you're gonna be too far. But other than that, anything is possible as long as one of the movements is forward. Now, another very important thing that I can tell you is that you have to understand that as soon as you hit the hypergrav in the opponent, as soon as hypergrav touches the opponent, you're free to move. And that's when you gotta super jump. You gotta super jump as fast as you can, because if you take too long to super jump, you're not gonna be able to have enough time to land, because as you can see here, when he does the hypergrav move, he pulls the character towards him. So you need the character to be pulled up when you super jump. As you can see here, Magneto follows me. So I gotta super jump to pull Magneto towards me so that I can land the both heavies and then do the hypergrav light. If I super jump too late, I'm not gonna be able to get this forward because he's already gonna fall. But the timing for you to super jump, in case you don't know the timing, is as soon as hypergrav hits. As soon as hypergrav hits, Magneto is free. And I'm gonna prove it to you right now. As you can see here, if I do a hypergrav, you can see that Magneto is stuck in that animation. If I try to press buttons, it doesn't come out. Look at the inputs there. I'm trying to press light and nothing comes because Magneto is stuck. But as soon as Magneto hits the opponent with hypergrav, I'm free. As soon as he hits, I'm free. That's how you can do the super jump. As soon as it hits, you already super jump. Okay? That is the timing. As soon as you see hypergrav hitting, or as soon as you hear hypergrav hitting, you can already super jump. That's when you're free to do it. And if you're able to super jump as fast as possible, this is gonna be much easier for you to execute, okay? Another thing that is important is the time when you dash down, or down forward, depending on how you want to do it. It's very important that you dash down as fast as you can, considering that you have to hit the opponent with jumping H. So, of course, you don't want to dash down as fast as possible, because otherwise you're not going to be able to hit the H, because you're going to be too close to the ground. So you got to get the minimum distance for Magneto to hit with the H, which is around this high. You can practice just like I'm practicing right now, just do this. You know, it's the same thing. If you land it, you're going to be able to get the combo. So you got to dash as soon as you know that jumping H is going to hit when you dash down. If you do too soon, again, it's not going to hit. And if you do too late, you might be able to hit the opponent, but you may not, you may cause the drop because you did it too late. Just like this, you know. So the idea is that you practice to try and do as fast as you can to get the H. Okay, practice this timing, because this is gonna not only allow you to do the loops, but to do the most amount of repetitions. I'm gonna explain that to you in a sec. What about the jumping medium variation? How do I do it? Well, I'm gonna be slowing down just like I did with the classic variation, and the way you're gonna do it is like this. After the hypergrav light, you're gonna be super jumping. You're gonna dash forward, you're gonna hit with jumping medium, then you're gonna hit with jumping H, you're gonna land on the floor, and then you're gonna press H again, and then you're gonna do hypergrav light. This is how you're gonna be doing. And for this one, I'd recommend you dash with light plus heavy, because just like I explained to you before, if you want to hit a button as fast as you can after a dash, it's better that that button is not included in your dash. So since you want to press medium, it's better that you dash with light plus heavy, because this way you can get medium to come out as fast as possible. However, for this one, since we are talking about the medium, medium comes out faster than H. So even though I like to dash with light plus medium, I feel like it doesn't hurt my execution much. Even though I'm not dashing with light plus heavy, even though I'm dashing using medium, it doesn't really hurt much my execution, because again, medium comes out faster than heavy, so it really doesn't hurt much here. But if you wanna get medium to come out as fast as possible, and if you wanna make the execution a little bit easier, it's better if you dash with light plus heavy for this one. Another thing that I can tell you is that you can also super jump anywhere you want here. You can super jump forward, you can super jump neutral, or you can super jump backwards. It won't hurt the execution as well. You can do whatever it feels more comfortable for you. It's gonna work independent of which version you use. The only advice I'm gonna be giving you here is to watch out if you want to super jump back, because if you super jump back too fast and you super jump back and already go for the dash, you might run into the risk of getting the super, because you inputted the super jump, and then the game can understand that you pressed back and down, and then you did jump, and you might get a Tiger Knee Magnetic Tempest. So I'd recommend you either super jump forward or neutral, so that you can avoid getting this situation, because you won't get a super in case you do it, so it's gonna be better. But if you want to super jump backwards, it's no problem, you can do it. You just gotta watch out to not get the Tiger Knee Magnetic Tempest. Other than that, the other advice I can give you is try to do as fast as possible. You know, you do the dash, and as soon as you can, you already do the medium, already do the heavy, and as soon as you land, you already hit heavy as well. Just as I recommended in the classic variation. As fast as you try to do the combo as fast as you can, because I'm gonna be showing you on screen right now the combos. If you do the combo a little slow, you'll see that you'll reduce the amount of repetitions that you can do. If you do as fast as possible the dashing and you land, you hit the opponent and you land and you already hit him as fast as possible, you'll see that you're gonna be able to do more repetitions. In this game, for some reason, how fast you do the combo influences here too. And for Magneto's Hyper Grav Loops, you'll see that it changes a lot on how many repetitions you can do, both for the classic variation and for the jumping medium variation. So this is another advice I give you. If you can do everything as fast as possible, do it like that, because you're gonna be able to do more repetitions. But if you're having troubles and you're just starting out, you can try doing it slow. I recommend you do it a little slow in the beginning for you to understand the combo, for you to be able to execute it. Even though you might have like 1 or 2 reps less, you may not be able to do the maximum amount of reps. But the first thing is for you to understand the combo and be able to execute it. After you know how to execute it, then you start speeding up, so that you can get the most amount of repetitions. Okay, now you know how to do Hyper Grav Loops, you know how many times you can repeat, you know the variations, but what is the best way for you to finish the combo? I'm going to be showing you 4 different finishers, and you can choose the one you want. So I'm going to start with the easier, and then I'm going to be moving on to the most optimal. So the first way is, after you do the last repetition of Hyper Grav Loops, you can just cancel into Magnetic Tempest. It's going to do some good damage and won't require much execution. If you want to finish with level 3, after the last repetition, you're going to be doing Heavy into Disruptor Heavy and Gravity Squeeze. Again, not much execution needed, and you're going to be dealing a lot of damage because of the level 3. The second finisher I'm going to be showing you is already going to finish in the air, so it's going to be better, it's going to deal more damage, and it's also going to be showing you how to finish more optimally with Magneto. So after the last repetition of Hyper Grav Loops, you're going to be using the Standing H, you're going to do Standing S after, and then you're going to give a few seconds for the opponent to go up. Not seconds, but a few moments for the opponent to go up, so that you can get the right heights to hit Magnetic Tempest later. After that, you're going to be super jumping, you're going to hit him with Heavy, then you're going to cancel into Disruptor Lights, and then you're going to be using Magnetic Tempest. That little time that you gave for the opponent to go up is what is going to allow you to hit Magnetic Tempest. If you don't give that little bit of time, the opponent will not get hit by Magnetic Tempest, because it's a kind of a slow super. It needs some time to start activating. That extra time that you give before the super jump is what is going to allow you to get this combo. If you want to finish with level 3 on this variation, you can do H into S. You can super jump, no need to give the time here. You're gonna use H and S in the air as well, jumping H and jumping S. And then you're gonna be dashing down, you're gonna press S in the air to land faster, and then as soon as you land, do Gravity Squeeze level 3. This is a way for you to finish with level 3, you're gonna do a lot of damage too. Third variation I'm going to be showing you is going to be very similar to the second one, but you're going to be able to add 1 extra heavy, 1 extra jumping heavy, or 1 extra jumping S. Basically what you're going to be doing is, after the last repetition of Hyper Grav Loops, you're going to be super jumping, you're going to dash down, you're going to do either H or S. You can do any of the two. S is going to deal a little bit more damage, so it's better if you can do it S. You're gonna land, and then you're gonna be doing just as you did before. You're gonna do H into S, delay a little bit your jump. You're gonna be super jumping, gonna do jumping H, cancel into Disruptor Light, and Magnetic Tempest. If you want to use the level 3, it's gonna be the exact same thing as you did before. Now, instead of jumping and using H into Disruptor Light, you're gonna be doing jumping H into jumping S, dashing down, pressing S just so that you can land faster, and cancelling into Gravity Squeeze. For the fourth and final variation, which is also the most optimal, what you're going to be doing is something very similar to the jumping medium variation. After the last repetition of Hyper Grav Loops, you're going to be super jumping, you're going to dash forward, and instead of using jumping medium and jumping heavy as you would in the jumping medium variation, you're going to be using the jumping heavy, jumping S, and then after you land, you're gonna do H into S, gonna give that little bit of delay, gonna jump, hit with H, Disruptor Light into Magnetic Tempest. The level 3 variation is just like I told you in the other two. Instead of using jumping H into Disruptor Light, you're gonna use jumping H into jumping S, Gonna dash down, use S to get faster to the ground, and gravity squeeze. This is the most optimal finisher for Magneto solo, and if you can't execute it, again I gave you other 3 options, and you know, you can kind of do a progress. If you can't do the 4th one, try to do the 3rd. If you can't do the 3rd, try the 2nd. If you can't do the 2nd, try the 1st. But the idea is that you should evolve until you hit the 4th one, which is the most optimal. As I told you before, the classic variation is better than the medium variation, jumping medium variation, because it has less damage scaling and less hit stun deterioration. But you don't have to only use them in HYPER GRAV loops and go for the maximum repetition of both, or if you use one, you can only use one and not the other. You can kind of mix both in the same combo so that you can take the best of both. Like, for example, if you're finishing a combo and you can only do one more rep, if you can make that one more rep of jumping medium, it's gonna be a little better because you're gonna do the extra damage of the jumping medium. And at the end of a combo, the damage has been scaled to maximum already, so the damage scaling that jumping medium gives you doesn't really matter anymore because it's already scaled to maximum. So you're just gonna take advantage of the extra damage of the jumping medium. I'm gonna be showing you some combos on screen right now where I only have, let's say, 1 repetition left of the HYPER GRAV loop, or I have 2 repetitions left, and then I do the first repetition with classic variation and then the last repetition with jumping medium variation, just so that I can get that last bit of damage from jumping medium. And you can do that. You can mix both variations if you want in the same combo, even if you have started the combo with other in other ways that not necessarily just the HYPER GRAV loops. But I just wanted to show you this to kind of show you that you can be creative. You can create your combos and you can mix both into the same combo and take the best of both worlds. You know, use the classic variation in the beginning of the combo or closer to the beginning so that you can, you know, have less damage scaling for as maximum amount of time as you can. But if you're at the very end of the combo and you only have 1 extra rep to go for, and if you're allowed to go for the jumping medium, if the hit stun deterioration allows you to use the jumping medium variation, go for it. You can do a little bit of extra damage because of the medium. So explore both, mix them in the combos, and you should get some very cool combinations. Even after this video, I can see people coming to me and saying, "One Heroes, I still can't do HYPER GRAV loops. Should I quit Magneto?" And my answer to you is no way. You don't have to quit Magneto just because you can't do HYPER GRAV loops. Honestly, HYPER GRAV loops are not even the most optimal damage resource that Magneto has at his disposal. Usually the most damaging combos from Magneto are gonna involve a few repetitions of HYPER GRAV loop, but not necessarily the maximum number of repetitions. You know, you don't have to do it like 8 times or 6 times in the combo. If you do a combo involving 2 or 3 repetitions and you do other combo before, you know, you do other types of resources like the magnetic blast or the relaunching combos, you're gonna be able to deal the most optimal damage with only a few repetitions of the HYPER GRAV loop. And even if you can't do a single repetition, it doesn't really matter because you got other combos that you can use and they are gonna deal a very good amount of damage. Of course, you're gonna leave some damage on the table for not knowing the HYPER GRAV loops, but not too much. Magneto can still be very dangerous without the HYPER GRAV loops. Honestly, if I was gonna be entirely truthful to you, I would recommend you practice more Magneto's mid-screen combos other than the HYPER GRAV, because the mid-screen combos with Magneto can be done both mid-screen and in the corner. They are effective for both situations, and if you know them, you're gonna be ready for any confirm anywhere on the screen. Whereas if you know HYPER GRAV loops, you're just gonna be knowing one of the best options that he has for the corner. And again, it's much better if you know an option that works anywhere. So there is a variation of HYPER GRAV loops that you can do in mid-screen. Okay, you can do mid-screen, but I only saw Ray doing once in tournament, and it was so freaking weird that I can't even understand what he was going for there, how he did that. So it's probably very not reliable to do in a match, so it's much better if you try to do it in the corner. And mid-screen, you should have other combos. But again, these combos also work in the corner. You have level 3 that Magneto does a ton of damage. You can do a level 1 after the level 3, so even if you can't do HYPER GRAV loops, you still have a ton of damage to explore with Magneto, so don't give up on the character, okay? I'd like to ask you that if you notice any information missing on the video, or if you have any knowledge that, you know, I haven't brought here, please make sure to leave it in the comments to help people make it easier, you know, learn easier hypergrav loops, or even if it's not about learning but would be like an extra tip to deal a little bit more damage, if you've got more optimal options of hypergrav loops or finishers or anything related to hypergrav loops or Magneto that you have knowledge about and that I haven't covered here, please make sure to leave it in the comments to help anybody who's trying to learn Magneto and make it more optimal. I would really appreciate it.
Hey you! Want to request a team for me to play online or arcade? Check out my membership by clicking on the join button below, or you can find a link for it in the description as well. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to receive more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later!